Hello, my name is Alex Marsh and I'm from the University of Bristol.
I am Adriana from University of Glasgow.
And we're here to tell you a bit about our project entitled The Rented Sector, Evictions and Activism. And this is part of Cash's work on the Covid-19 pandemic, its impact on the housing system and housing policy responses. So our work on the private rented sector has got two components. And the first component, what we're hoping to do is study the policy response, try to understand both the framing of the policy response and the narratives around it, but also the process of decision making. Firstly, in the initial response to the crisis, for example, the introduction of the moratorium on evictions, but also how policymakers are thinking about exit strategies. And that'll be something we're hoping to explore this summer. And then in a second wave of interviews, we're going to come around again in the early part of 2021 to get reflections on how the situation is developed, how the exit strategies have played out, and also maybe thinking about the medium term. What is it that we're going to be adopting as longer term responses to some really challenging circumstances in the private rented sector? And then Adriana is going to tell you about the second part of the project.
Thank you, Alex. In the second part of the project, we focus on the understudy area of private tenant activism. And with activism, we understand a more broad action. For instance, at the granular level, we look at small-scale tenant activism, as this has already made punctual changes in stopping eviction, for instance, or putting landlord under pressure for repairs. Tenants use digital platform to call for help, for solidarity, and organize local mobilization. But at a broader level, pre-COVID-19 street movements and activists started already to shift the terms of the debate in England, for instance, in relation to Section 21, and have successfully done so in Scotland. After all, Glasgow, where I am located, is the place of the iconic 1915 rent strike. This pandemic crisis could represent a window of opportunity to press for changes, for more security for tenants. And this part of our project will investigate how tenants' activism is conceived, organized, and linked to the political decision making.
So as Adriana says, the third component of the project is to bring these two elements into dialogue to understand how activism interacts with the policy process. So the private rented sector is facing some of the most acute problems afflicting the housing system, and clearly there are some challenging decisions to be made and significant impact on the well-being of tenants and landlords. So this project is going to be exploring those things over the next few months, and hopefully in the course of that we'll be able to shed some light on how governments respond to such acute crises.